I've spent 3,000 hours playing Persona 5 Royal. That's 180 days, or over 1 million seconds spent in a video game. It shouldn't be surprising to any of you that I love this game, and given Persona 5 ranks at the top of the polls I run here on the channel, it seems so many of you love the game too. But what is it about this game that makes you want to sink so much time into it? Well, I'm going to list some of the things I love, but I'll be saving my true introspection for later on in the video. Consider this my love letter to Persona 5 Royal and all its amazing qualities. Now, is it a bit silly to make a video praising a game that has been widely enjoyed for years? But at the end of the day, these are just some things I found noteworthy when considering my playtime. And at some points it's going to sound like I'm choosing more obscure parts of the game to mention, but I think it's these smaller details that make the game what it is. It's in the finer details that Persona 5 Royal truly shines, and I think there are certain game mechanics that are worth discussing for this very reason. You can disagree with me of course, but given that Persona 5 was the first Persona game played by so many people, I'd say plenty of people might end up recognizing something that stands out for them too. Feel free to debate your favorite aspects in the comments, and I'll be sure to join in. But now onto why I've put so many hours into this game. For starters, the gameplay leaves you craving so much more. It's a perfect addictive cycle that masterfully balances two games in one, a high-stakes dungeon crawler and a chill life sim. The synergy between these two halves is what makes it so hard to put down. Your daily life directly fuels your power as a phantom thief. Ranking up Yoshida betters his incredible story arc, while also using his abilities to let you demand way more money and items from Shadows, helping fund ridiculously expensive Persona fusions. And let's not forget Dr. Takemi. Her Confidant rank unlocks significantly improved healing items that are absolutely essential for surviving the later palaces. Even maxing out your Confidants has become such a rewarding and fun experience, especially with the amazing cast of characters you encounter along your journey. The game constantly rewards you for investing in its world, making you want so much more. And before you know it, it's 3 AM and you're just trying to decide if you should hit the jazz club to teach Ryuji his charge, or even just build lockpicks for the next heist. And the amazing thing is, every corner of this city feels like a place you actually want to live in. Then you have your teacher, Kawakami, whose final ability lets you go out at night after a metaverse run, literally breaking one of the game's biggest rules and giving you back the most valuable resource you have. Time is hard to come by. This deep integration makes every choice feel critical. Every moment you invest pays off both in story and in power, creating a perfect, endlessly rewarding cycle. I often find myself just wandering around, almost forgetting that I'm playing a game. And that's because the atmosphere is completely unmatched by any other game. I love the satisfaction of unlocking a new district and exploring it to discover all its secrets, or being in the darts and billiards hall which directly powers up your baton pass, or even mundane places like the temple where you can meditate to boost your SP. The game isn't just a series of levels, it's a fully realized world that becomes a comfort space. The attention to detail is insane. I love overhearing NPC conversations that are completely different based on your actions, or just seeing the city changing with the seasons. It feels like a living, breathing place which will continue long after you've finished playing. So many people, myself included, feel genuinely empty after finishing the game because they miss just existing in its world. The narrative is framed as a high-stakes mystery. You start the game having already been caught, and then you spend the next 80 hours piecing together the events that led to your downfall. It's an enthralling hook. The villains you face embody real-world corruption. You take down a physically abusive teacher, an exploitative artist, a mafia boss, and a power-hungry politician. These antagonists feel grounded, making their eventual defeat incredibly cathartic. Then Royal's third semester elevates the entire story by introducing Maruki, an antagonist who isn't evil, but is driven by a genuine, if twisted, desire to end everyone's suffering. This adds a phenomenal layer of moral complexity that forces you to question what true justice really is. Within the story, the writers shine a confronting spotlight on serious, real-world issues through its villains. Madarame is the gatekeeping creative genius who exploits young talent for his own gain, and Shido is an allegory for the corrupt political machine that views the public as nothing more than votes to be manipulated. The writers use the medium so effectively to highlight incredibly common failures in our society, but remind us these monsters can see justice. Catharsis comes from the fact that you, a supposed nobody, get to be the one to finally make these untouchable figures answer for their crimes. It's a powerful fantasy that makes every victory feel incredibly meaningful. And while exploring Tokyo is a massive part of why I love Persona 5, I also spend so much time building myself up into the ultimate untouchable Phantom Thief. And for hardcore players, that obsession with growth leads you straight to the Velvet Room and the insane level of customization. You can and will spend hundreds of hours just mucking around to build the perfect persona because it's a deep, complex puzzle of skill inheritance and traits which adds so much depth, I often get lost thinking about what new combination I'll make next. The fusion alarm system in Royal takes this to a whole new level. turning the Velvet Room into a high-stakes casino. You can use it to itemize a persona like Lucifer and get the Tyrant Pistol, or accidentally create a rare persona you weren't expecting. The payoff for all this obsessive effort is absolutely glorious. You walk into a secret boss fight with a completely personalized god-tier persona that feels uniquely yours. It's a feeling very few RPGs can match. And once you've finally built that roster of god-tier personas, you're not done. You're just getting ready for New Game Plus, which is so much more than just a victory lap. With your social stats maxed and your persona compendium carried over, you're completely unleashed. But more importantly, you unlock the game's true final challenges. This is where you test your perfect builds against the secret bosses like the twins and the ridiculously tough Lavenza. Her fight is a brutal, multi-phase test on every mechanic in the game, where one wrong move means instant death. The game gives you a ton of meaty rewards to make you lie awake thinking about spending another 1,000 hours in the world. But let's be real, the secret bosses, the perfect builds, and the thousands of hours. It simply wouldn't matter if you weren't invested. And I suppose that's why I'm rambling so much in this video, because my love for this game and the Persona franchise is deeper than a surface level book or song. It's a combination of artistry that you rarely find, and I couldn't be happier to have found it here. And I'm sure that feeling probably extends to so many of you who have played Persona 5 Royal for hours and hours, connecting with the various aspects of the game that stand out to you, providing you with meaningful entertainment when perhaps you need it most. Perhaps that sounds a little exaggerated, but if I had to compare the Persona series to any other, there are so few that have been able to draw as much raw emotion from me when playing. It puts into perspective how someone can spend over 100 days playing a video game. Why play the newest AAA dribble when I can boot up Persona 5 and have an unforgettable experience? There are a lot of things at play here. I've thought this over a lot, but whilst Persona 5 Royal does so many things well, there's one aspect that sticks out to me specifically. It's the characters. Style, combat, and customization are all great, but they don't mean anything if you don't connect with the people at the heart of the story. And Persona 5 makes you care. I mean, even the side confidants tell touching stories about the pressures of growing up. You're spending a whole in-game year with these people, learning their struggles and celebrating their victories, and that bond is what makes the story hit so hard. And the ultimate beauty of this world is it makes saying goodbye actually painful. It's quite a funny catch-22, where a game's narrative and character arcs are so effective that you are left wanting more by the end of it. More time with the very people who accompanied you for hours and hours on end. It's the mark of an amazing game that can keep players so enthused and attached to fictional characters. Persona 5 Royal is an experience that remains in your mind for long after you initially complete the game loop. We're all still chasing that same feeling. I suppose that's why we're all so excited for Persona 6 and the potential for a similar experience in the future. But only time will tell whether Persona 6 can really recapture the magic that Persona 5 ignited. Whilst Persona 5 is not my favorite Persona game in the series, I still find it to be the most alluring in my library these days. There's never been a time these last few years that I wasn't ready to play more, and I couldn't be happier about that. That goes along with the Persona community, who I have loved speaking with over the years. So much passion and genuine happiness in one area of the internet, thank you everyone. But at the end of the day, I think we can all agree Persona 5 Royal is a masterpiece you can get lost in for thousands of hours because it gives you a whole other life to live. And if you enjoyed this video and want to see me discuss the best palace in Persona 5 Royal, click the video on screen now.